evening, Dad. Are you still at work?
Oh, Jacqueline? It's rare for you to call me out of the blue like this. Is something wrong?
It's something important, and I think it's going to take a while to explain. So if now's not the time to talk, I can wait until later, I guess.
Actually, I just got home, so I have time. Go ahead, tell me what's on your mind.
I think this might really shock you. I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to upset you, but I have to tell you.
Jacqueline, just tell me. Whatever it is, I'd rather hear it from you.
Mom, I think she's having an affair.
What? Jill is cheating?
I didn't want to believe it either, but I've seen the proof with my own eyes. She's been bringing a man into our house, and they've been doing things.
Hold on, just wait a second.
Dad, I don't even know where to start. This whole thing makes me sick. I've been holding this in for so long, and I don't know what to do anymore.
Jacqueline, take a deep breath. I need you to explain everything carefully. I know this must be hard for you, but let's go step by step. Can you do that for me?
I can't wrap my head around it. Mom's always had such an easy life ever since she married you. You've given her everything. Financial stability, a comfortable home, security, peace of mind. She used to constantly stress about money, but after she married you, all of that disappeared. She doesn't even need to work, but she chose to do that part-time job just to pass the time. Because of you, I was able to go to university. I wouldn't have had that chance if you hadn't been there for us.
Jacqueline!
I've always been grateful for everything you've done. You're the best father I could have ever asked for. You took care of both of us. You made sure we never had to struggle. And despite all that, she still turned around and did this to you. How could she? How could she betray you like this?
Let's go through this carefully. I know you're upset. I am too, but I need to understand exactly what's happening. Can I ask you a few questions?
Oh, yeah, of course.
First, do you know who this guy is?
I think he's a university student. He works part-time at Mom's job.
A student? Wait, you don't mean he's younger than you?
Yeah, he's definitely younger than me. I don't know what his full name is, but Mom calls him Curtis.
Curtis? That could be a first name or a last name.
Mom usually calls people by their first names when she's close to them.
Right, that does sound like her. So it's probably his first name. Jacqueline, did you actually see them together? Like something undeniable?
Yes. I came home earlier than usual one day and I saw her walking him to the door. And then they kissed. It wasn't just a peck on the cheek or anything. It was a real kiss, like lovers. And it wasn't just one. I've seen it happen multiple times now. Every time it's the same. She sees him out, they kiss, and he leaves.
She's being reckless.
I think she's doing it on purpose, timing it so he leaves right before I usually get home. She probably thinks it's safe because she assumes I'm still on my commute.
Wait, explain that.
So last month, my company changed its working hours slightly. Because of that, my train transfers are smoother now, and I get home about 20 minutes earlier than before. But I forgot to mention it to Mom.
So that's how you ended up catching her.
Yeah.
That must have been awful, seeing your own mother like that. I can't even imagine how you must feel.
Honestly, it makes me sick. I can't even look at her the same way anymore. It's bad enough that she's cheating in the first place, but with someone that much younger? He's practically a kid. It's disgusting.
Jacqueline, I need to ask you something. Do you feel safe in that house?
What?
Do you feel okay living there? Because if not, you don't have to. If you want, I can help you move into your own apartment.
But...
Don't worry about the money. This is an emergency. If you need financial support, I'll cover it. I don't want you living in an environment that makes you feel like this. You shouldn't have to come home every day to something that makes you sick.
I don't know.
Jacqueline, I want you to think about yourself first. You've already been through enough.
I never thought this would happen.
I know. That's why I don't want you to force yourself to stay in that house if it's making you miserable. I'll help you find a place. I'll even cover your first few months' rent if you need me to.
Okay, I think I'll take you up on that.
Good. And Jacqueline, if you need anything, just let me know. You don't have to handle this alone.
Thanks, Dad.
Now about Jill. I need to figure out how to deal with this.
Actually, I was thinking of investigating myself.
What? But...
It's okay. Talking to you has helped me calm down a bit. And to be honest, I know Mom's daily routine better than anyone. If I move out, she'll think she has total freedom. She'll get careless. She'll invite Curtis over more often, thinking no one's watching.
That's actually a good point. That might be the perfect opportunity to gather more proof. But Jacqueline, listen to me. If it gets to be too much, promise me you'll stop and let me take over.
I will. I promise.
Jill, can I talk to you for a second?
Oh, what's up?
I've been thinking. I was wondering what you're doing right now, just now, at this moment.
That's a strange question to ask. I can't remember the last time you reached out just to ask about something like that. It's always been about something specific. Is something wrong?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound strange. It's just things have been crazy lately. Work, life, everything's been spinning out of control. I've just been trying to catch my breath. I finally feel like I can manage things again, and so here I am, checking in on you, I guess.
Oh, I see. Well, it sounds like you've had a lot on your plate. Work getting to you, huh?
Yeah, work's been more demanding than usual, but it's not just that. It's other things too, personal stuff. It feels like everything's been piling up all at once, you know? It's like I'm juggling so many things, and I've just been trying to keep it all together.
Personal stuff? What do you mean? Is it something to do with Jacqueline?
Well, in a way, yeah, but also just everything. When you're living alone, you don't realize how much you have to handle by yourself until it's all on your shoulders, and sometimes it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. But I'm dealing with it, you know?
Yeah, I guess. You've got a point. I've been thinking a lot about Jacqueline lately, too. It's like I didn't even realize how much she was doing on her own either. She's never really asked for help, and I just didn't notice, but I suppose we're both kind of in the same boat now. Living apart, it's not as simple as we thought it would be, is it?
But Jacqueline still comes home on weekends, right? She's not completely alone.
True, she comes by every now and then. She lives close enough, just the next station over, so it's not a big deal. She still picks up things from here and there, you know, little stuff like clothes or whatever. She does that pretty often. In fact, she stops by, takes something, and leaves just as quickly.
I guess, in the end, even though she's living on her own, we're still connected in a way. But it's funny, she never stays for long. She never really stays anywhere, does she?
Yeah, that's true. But do you know why she started living on her own? Why now, all of a sudden?
Well, it's probably because she started working, right? She probably thought it was time to finally be independent, to do things for herself without anyone around to help. She's at that age now, after all. It's just a natural part of growing up, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. But there's something else to it, too. At least I think there is. It's like, you know how you can feel like you're standing on your own, like you're doing all right, but then it's like you're waiting for something, waiting for someone to come along and sweep you up again. It's like if you don't make that break, if you don't truly cut those strings, you could just get caught up in the same old cycles. And that's why Jacqueline needed this. She needed to break free. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I think I do. It's like a little deeper than just moving out. She probably realized without that space she could end up being pulled back into all that drama. Being dragged around, it's like maybe she needed to see where she really stood by herself. I think that's why I feel like she's been keeping her distance lately. Not just physically, but emotionally too, you know?
Wait, are you implying something here? Because it sounds like you're saying there's more to it than just moving out.
Oh, don't worry. I wasn't trying to make it sound that way. I'm thinking about things, that's all. But if you think about it, you've been kind of distant too, haven't you? You've been living alone for a while, and it's obvious we haven't really had the chance to talk. Really talk like we used to. It's like we're drifting apart. Do you feel it?
Wait, you're reading too much into this, a little too much. I'm just trying to keep things together, that's all. You know how it is. It's just that things pile up sometimes, and I have to deal with them. But yeah, you're right. We haven't been talking much, and I guess I miss how things used to be too. It's not like I wanted things to change, but they have.
But hold on, you just said something earlier. You're telling me you're living alone, but it doesn't always feel like that, does it? There's more to it, isn't there?
What do you mean?
Come on, you know what I mean. There's someone else, isn't there?
What? No! Jacqueline moved out. I'm living alone, I swear. If only you'd come back to me, things would be different. It would be just the two of us, like before, but I know that's not going to happen now, at least not anytime soon. And you don't seem to want it, do you?
You're wrong. Don't act like you don't know. It's not like you're unaware of the situation. You've been living in your own world, pretending things are fine, but they're not, and you know it.
Wait a second. What are you even saying now? What's going on here? This doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense, huh? Well, I guess you're not going to get it until you see it for yourself. Look, you've been avoiding the truth this whole time. You're still playing this game like you don't know, but you should have known this whole time, Jill.
What are you talking about?
Take a good look at this. These photos weren't just taken out of nowhere. You didn't think it was odd that you found them lying around in our bedroom, did you? They came from a hidden camera I placed there. Did you not notice?
Wait, what? A hidden camera? Are you serious?
I'm serious, Jill. I've already taken down the camera. It's all gone. There's nothing left to find. But you really should have seen it coming. You didn't think you could just sweep this under the rug, did you?
What? When did you put that there? How did you get in here without me knowing?
I've been here, Jill. I've been right here watching. And you've been lying to me this whole time. You thought I didn't know, but I do.
No, this can't be happening.
Oh, but it is. You think I don't see it? You think you've been clever, but I know. I've known all along. And now you're stuck with the consequences. So, you still want to deny it?
Oh, fine. I get it all right. You want me to admit it, right? So here it is. That guy, he's my boyfriend. His name is Carter Curtis. He's 20 years old, my most beloved person. Not some old stinky man like you, okay? He's young and cute, and he's my boyfriend.
I see.
So, you're just going to accept that, huh? Just like that?
Well, if you're willing to admit it, I guess I don't have much choice. But just so we're clear, you don't really think I'm gonna just let you go that easily, do ya? Do you know what you're asking for now?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm sure I can figure it out. We'll get it sorted. After all, I've got money. Jacqueline's working, so I can count on her to help me out. And Jacqueline, she'll be on my side. She's my daughter, after all. She'll help me out with whatever's needed.
You think Jacqueline's gonna help you? I think she's already made up her mind.
What are you talking about?
You see, Jacqueline was the one who exposed you. She's the one who told me about everything. Jacqueline's the reason I know about the affair, Jill.
Who? What?
The hidden camera? Jacqueline put it there. That's right.
Are you serious right now? What are you even talking about? This isn't making sense.
Oh, it's perfectly clear. You were so confident, like you thought no one would ever find out. But Jacqueline, she saw it all. She walked in on the two of you.
Wait, no, she can't. She wouldn't. I'm her mother. No matter what, she's supposed to stand by me. She's supposed to side with me, not you. You're just some guy who's been hanging around. Jacqueline, she's my daughter, blood, not like you.
And that's exactly why she can't forgive you. That's why she's doing this. She saw it all, Jill.
Wait, what? What are you saying? You mean Jacqueline already knew about David?
Oh, she knows more than you think. Jacqueline knew about your affair with David. You told her the divorce was because of David's infidelity, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's the truth, isn't it? What else could I say? It happened.
No, Jacqueline knew, and she was hurt. And when I talked to her, she told me what you've been hiding.
What? What do you mean? What else have you hidden from her?
She learned something else, Jill. She learned about the money you didn't spend on her, the child support you've been keeping from her. Do you know what that does to a child? Do you know what you've been doing?
What are you talking about? I never kept it from her. You don't understand.
I understand more than you think. Jacqueline went to see David recently.
No way. You're lying. She doesn't even know where he is.
Actually, someone told her. A relative. Someone she was still in contact with. Someone sent her updates, even sent her New Year's cards.
Who told her?
I don't know. But what I do know is that Jacqueline found out what you've been doing. She discovered that the money David sent for her, money that was supposed to go to her needs, ended up in your hands. It wasn't used for Jacqueline. It wasn't used for her education or her well-being.
What? No, that's not true. I was doing what I had to do for her. I was being a good mother.
No, Jill, you weren't being a good mother. Jacqueline had to work day in and day out all through high school because you refused to use that money to support her. She had to struggle. Do you understand that?
No. I didn't make her struggle. That was for her education, to make her tougher. It was important.
Important? So, what, you thought the best thing for her was to leave her with nothing? To make her suffer just so she could learn a lesson? That's what you did to her, Jill. And now you're getting what you deserve.
This is ridiculous. You're not even hearing me right. You can't say all this without understanding that I was trying to teach her something. I was doing what's right.
You weren't, and Jacqueline knows it. She found out about everything you've been hiding, and guess what? She's done with you.
No, she can't be. She's my daughter. She can't just walk away from me.
You pushed her away, and now she wants nothing to do with you. Oh, and the address I gave you, that was temporary. Jacqueline's not even there anymore.
What? You're lying.
You really don't understand, do you? Do you know who's there now? Carter. Carter's in the apartment right now, isn't he?
What are you talking about? You're crazy. I'm by myself.
No, you're not. Carter went in there. I've already confirmed it. I've got proof. Me and my lawyer, we've seen it with our own eyes.
Wait, what? A lawyer?
Yeah, you didn't think I was just sitting back and letting this go, did you? And Carter, you know he's married, right? He has 2 kids with his wife and he's still seeing you. What does that say about you, Jill?
No way. You're telling me. You're saying Carter's married too?
Oh yeah, I'm not the only one who knows about you two. Carter's wife knows as well. She's gonna be pursuing legal action too.
What? You're all against me? No, I can't. I don't have the money for this. I never asked for any of this.
Well, you're gonna get it whether you like it or not. You've made your bed, Jill, and now you'll have to lie in it.
Wait, you can't just do this. I don't have anything left.
It's too late now. You'll have to pay for what you did, and this time you can't hide. We'll talk about the details later. As I approached the door to my house, I heard the familiar sound of the lock clicking shut. It was as if the universe was reminding me just how determined she was to resist. The audacity of it all, this pathetic refusal to admit defeat, was truly something to behold. How much longer was she going to keep up this charade? It was clear to me that she was holding on to something she knew was slipping away, but her efforts were becoming increasingly laughable. Of course, the moment I reached for my key, the matter was resolved. I had the key, after all, and there was no obstacle that could stop me from entering my own home. As the door swung open effortlessly, I couldn't help but feel a slight sense of triumph. This was my house, not hers, and despite all her efforts to hold on to what wasn't here anymore, reality had a way of putting things back in place. Inside the house, things were quieter than usual. I knew she'd been trying to avoid any confrontation, hiding away like a child caught doing something wrong. She had no one to lean on now, no one to protect her from the consequences of her actions. For all the strength she had tried to project, it was all unraveling now. The facade was cracking, and she could no longer pretend like everything was fine. The first thing I noticed as soon as I stepped into the living room was the absence of Carter, her so-called lover. His presence in this house had always been a thorn in my side, but now that thorn was gone. As I had anticipated, he had already made his exit. He'd been quick to make the decision to divorce. It wasn't surprising, really. The moment I heard that he'd been seeing someone else while still married, I knew he'd fold under the pressure. He had been nothing more than a coward, hiding behind the illusion of a glamorous relationship, only to find himself in the crosshairs of a woman who would tear him apart without hesitation. Carter had always relied on his wife, a well-established woman with a successful career. She had been the one supporting him financially, giving him the freedom to play around and indulge in whatever whims he had. But that came with a price. The woman he was involved with, my ex-wife, had been nothing short of a storm. She was relentless, a force of nature that couldn't be ignored. She demanded complete submission, and Carter was no match for her fury. It didn't take long before he was reduced to a trembling wreck, the man who had once tried to play the part of a confident lover, now resembling a scared little puppy, cornered and unsure of what to do. As for Jill, his wife, the situation was even more complicated. Her world was crumbling, and she was starting to realize the weight of her choices. She had been completely blindsided by Carter's affair, and now, as if the universe had decided to throw in another twist for good measure, she was left without anyone to rely on. Her own daughter, unable to forgive the betrayal, had severed ties with her, and that left Jill in an even worse position than she had imagined. Her social standing, her support system, everything was falling apart piece by piece. Now, with the divorce finalized, Jill found herself alone. She had no one left to help her and no one to turn to for support. This is what happens when you betray the people who care about you. Jill, in her desperation, had nowhere to go but to me. I could see it in her eyes, the panic. It was clear that she hadn't thought through the consequences of her actions. She had assumed that she would somehow come out on top, that she'd find a way to get through this mess without any serious repercussions. But that wasn't going to happen. She was about to find out that actions had consequences, and those consequences weren't going to be pretty. As she begged, as she pleaded for me to help her, I remained unmoved. It wasn't about being cold or unforgiving. It was about understanding that there was no easy way out of this. She had taken everything she could from me, from our family, and now there was nothing left to offer. I wasn't going to be her safety net anymore, not after everything that had happened. At this point, the reality was undeniable. Her desperation was clear, but I wasn't the one who was going to save her. She had to face the consequences of her own choices, and no amount of pleading was going to change that. She had wanted to play games, to tear apart everything in her path, and now it was time for her to pay for those games. But even as she tried to push me into a corner, to manipulate me into feeling sympathy for her, I knew that there was no way I was going to give in, not anymore. There was no room for compassion when it came to someone who had hurt me this deeply. The worst part was that she didn't even seem to understand the gravity of what she had done. She thought she could fix everything with a few words, a little bit of emotional manipulation. But this time it wasn't going to work. As for David, he had his own questions for her. He wanted answers. He wanted to know why she had used the money meant for our daughter's education on her own selfish desires. How could she have been so reckless? How could she have spent money that wasn't hers to spend? Money that was meant to secure our child's future? I could see the anger in David's eyes when he confronted her about it. He was just as hurt as I was, and there was no excuse for what she had done. In the face of his accusations, Jill had no choice but to confront the full weight of her actions. She couldn't hide behind her lies anymore. Her response was predictable. She tried to justify her actions as if there was any valid excuse for what she had done. But the truth was clear. She had been selfish. She had been so consumed by her own desires that she lost sight of what really mattered. Now, as a result of her own mistakes, she was forced to pay the price. Jill's world was collapsing around her. The divorce settlement was brutal. She was forced to pay a substantial amount in alimony, and to add to her troubles, the money she owed for the child support was piling up. She was barely keeping it together, working from dawn till dusk just to pay off the debts she had accumulated. The days were long and exhausting for her, and she had no one to lean on. Her former support system had evaporated, and all she had left was the harsh reality of the consequences she had brought upon herself. It's strange, really, seeing someone who once held so much power, so much control, now reduced to this. She had been the one calling the shots, the one who thought she could get away with anything, and now she was the one struggling to keep her head above water, paying off her debts with whatever she could scrape together. It's a harsh reminder that no matter how much power someone thinks they have, it can all come crashing down in an instant. As for me, I'm moving forward. I've got my daughter to think about, and she's my priority. The past is the past, and while it still stings, I know I'm better off without the constant drama and chaos that surrounded Jill. I've learned that sometimes the only way to move forward is to leave the toxic people behind and focus on what truly matters. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.